Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We have the opportunity to apply our research to really do something good.
Upwards of 800,000 people are trafficked across international borders every year. Of those, 80% are female, half are children. Alarming statistics from the U.S. State Department.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Traffickers have been known to post pictures of their victims in hotel rooms for advertisements.
Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood talked with someone who is one of the brains behind a way to combat this critical global crisis through the palm of your hand.
Knowing that I'm producing something that can help fight that is so meaningful, and something that can be used to fight for the women and the men and the children that are currently victims of something that's really horrific.
Abby Stylianiou is on board as a computer vision researcher for an app that can make a difference.
My lab is particularly interested in the problem of understanding, if I have a picture, can I answer where it was taken?
Because of her knowledge of facial recognition technology, she came on board with Traffic Cam in 2014.
We got hooked up with a group called the Exchange Initiative, who had the idea to build a database of hotel images so that members of law enforcement, when they're investigating a case of sex trafficking that includes a picture of a victim posed in a hotel room, these get posted on web pages like Backpage.com, that they could figure out what hotel room this was taken in.
So how do you use Traffic Cam once you get to your hotel room? So open up Traffic Cam. Then you want to give the hotel name and the room number. They're going to want you to take a photo of the front of the room as well as the back of the room. So police get a full spectrum of what the room looks like so they can catch those predators. Stylianiou works out of St. Louis, Missouri, but is asking for your help no matter what state you live in. What are your feelings that you are a part of a movement that could actually make a difference in this huge global effort to combat sex trafficking?
It's really an amazingly satisfying feeling. I actually am expecting my first child, a little girl, in September, and this resonates with me. I mean, this is something I'm very aware of now, thinking about her future and the things that we'll have to be on the lookout for her.
As for success rates, Traffic Cam needs more of your hotel pictures to build out the application and create a large enough database so it's easy for police to use. In Fargo, Christine Stanwood, Valley News Live.
As of now, Traffic Cam has over 1.5 million photos submitted, and it's available through any web browser that has access to a GPS location.
It was a warm one out there today, and by the sounds of it, there could be a doozy of a storm tonight or sometime this weekend. Let's head over to Robert Hahn for a first look. Robert?
Yeah, it's certainly warm out there with temperatures mostly into the 80s and 90s, but some rain-cooled 70s over parts of Minnesota. And as we head through the overnight hours tonight, there is that risk for some severe weather over parts of the valley, and we'll continue to monitor that as we head through the rest of the evening and through the early morning hours on Saturday. 85 now in Fargo, 90 in Jamestown and Sisseton. It's been breezy to windy all day today, and that will continue as we head through the rest of the evening. Some cloud cover primarily over in Minnesota, and underneath those clouds, we have seen some showers and some thunderstorms, the strongest of which not very strong anymore. That continues to weaken as it makes its way on through Wadena County. Here is that severe risk as we head through the overnight hours. In the yellow, a slight risk. Below that, marginal risk. We'll continue to watch that area. We'll watch the entire region. Anything that's out of hand, we'll be here to let you know. We'll have more on that as well as look at your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Robert. And you can stay up to date on the weather conditions where you are anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just download the Storm Team weather app to get the latest weather conditions and even follow the radar live. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store.
Several felony drug charges have been filed against a Grand Forks man. 34-year-old Jonathan Sharp is facing delivery of a controlled substance and possession of heroin with intent to deliver. He's also charged with assaulting an officer and preventing arrest. Yesterday, we reported that there's been an uptick in recent drug overdoses in Grand Forks. Police say they don't know if there's a connection between the two yet. It's Friday, so it's time to take a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. 31-year-old Crystal Borseth is wanted for felony probation violation on possession of a controlled substance. She stands 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 125 pounds. She has brown hair and hazel eyes. Contact Fargo Police or your local law enforcement if you have any information on Borseth.
A road under construction that had been closed is back open tonight near Oakport in Clay County. Flood protection work is happening on County Road 1 and at the intersection of 70th Avenue North. Utility work led to the road closure and forced homeowners to use a private drive to get around the mess. One woman says she feared that something would happen to her ill parents and first responders would not get to her.
They have health issues. I'm concerned about if they need emergency services, they can't get in and out, especially if it rains. And these people don't say, we don't know what, when and where we're ever going to have a road to get out.
Our investigation discovered that a mistake was made and the road was not supposed to be shut down. According to the engineering firm overseeing the project, the mistake was made by the utility company. If you need help with something in your neighborhood, call 237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case.
An already congested stretch of 13th Avenue South in Fargo had to close for a time because of a natural gas leak today. It happened in the construction zone near 43rd Street South at mid-morning. Traffic had to be rerouted and people were told to stay out of the area for a time. Nearby businesses were checked and some were evacuated. Others essentially shutting down while Xcel Energy crews and firefighters made the necessary repairs. That stretch of 13th Avenue is back to normal.
The Minnesota State Patrol is investigating a crash that left one person dead and 2 others injured. Troopers say it happened here on Highway 59 just south of Mahnomen early this morning. The crash report says a car was headed north when it crossed the center line and hit a semi head-on. The driver of the car died and their passenger was hurt. The driver of the semi has injuries that are not life-threatening. The name of the person who died has not been released yet.
A man had to be checked into the hospital today for unknown injuries after he and the bike he was riding were hit by an SUV in South Fargo. It happened at the busy intersection of 13th Avenue and 32nd Street South. That's near Shields Home and Garden Center. Police say the driver of the SUV was making a right-hand turn when she hit the bike. She was not injured or cited in this crash.
UND has spent more than $250,000 changing its school mascot and logo, and that number is expected to increase.
Could there have been a more cost-effective option? Well, some people think turning to students on campus to help with the logo design would have been one possibility. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker talks to someone who says many of the students who sent in designs feel like there are options that didn't matter.
The student body and the faculty and staff of such an institution ought to be, capable of doing precisely what's needed for, such a creative project.
UND graduate Ian Mabry says the campus is full of talent that would have been capable of designing a logo to represent the Fighting Hawks. One logo that's getting a lot of attention online came from a graphic design technology major.
There's a lot of people on campus that actually can do graphic design, and they came up with logos and concepts.
But Durward's design of a Fighting Hawk stands out above the rest. It's been shared and seen by thousands of people, most agreeing it would have saved the cash-strapped university money. However, Durward appreciates the work that went into the new official logo.
I like it, but at the same time, it looks like it's supposed to be for a business because they use negative space to make a hawk instead of actually making or drawing a hawk.
UND Art and Design Department Chair Arthur Jones says he sees how the university could have went in either direction.
I think you can find a tremendous amount of creative talent just coming out of our student body. But a professional design firm also has proven expertise.
To me, the value of the university comes with what it has to offer to the students, not how it looks on a T-shirt.
In Grand Forks, Cornelius Hawker, Valley News Live.
UND says it considered all opinions when choosing this new logo and that giving money to the students in the form of scholarships to help with the design was not possible.
The funeral for former Miss North Dakota is tonight in Grand Forks. The visitation for Samantha Edwards started at 5 and runs until 7. That's when the funeral will start. It's being held at Amundsen Funeral Home. The Edwards family says Samantha died of natural causes. We reached out to the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's office, and they still do not have an official cause of death for Edwards.
Today was a time to eat and donate. Later on Valley News Live at 6, who will benefit around Christmas time thanks to this effort?
We've seen a few showers and storms over in Minnesota overnight tonight. Some of the severe weather well off to our west may make its way through the area. Your forecast details, including a look at your weekend forecast, coming up right after this.